Hello and welcome. Uh, it's going to be a short recording because I am running behind a little bit today. It's been a busy day, a lot of moving parts, medical appointments this morning, and just a lot of moving around, a lot of updating and upgrading of computer systems, and so it's been a busy one. Um, I guess really what stood out most in my mind today was um, at the doctor's appointment. I actually met with a nurse practitioner, and she was amazing. Delilah was her name, and Delilah, um, she's what's called a gap provider. Basically, she fills in where other providers should be available. They aren't, and she's the one that comes in. And I think what stood out to me in that experience, other than the fact that she was very welcoming and open and willing to converse about all the medical things that I had going on in that moment that I wanted her to address, that she was um so well versed. Like I think that as a medical professional you have to be well versed, but she was just exceptional in every way. And I was grateful. I was so grateful just to for her to sit with me and to be receptive to my situation. It's the life of a professional is to do this. And so um I just was so I don't know. It was awesome. It was really awesome just to have that moment with her. Um, you never know who's going to walk in the door in that situation. And you never know who you're going to walk in and meet with in this kind of, medical uh place where like I don't go to the doctor that often, but I just I guess I just was uncertain who I was going to meet, and I met the most pleasant individual. And I think in life we run into that a lot where we don't know who we're really going to see in a life, in a day, and in a moment. You never really know. You might think just like you might think who you're going to meet at work, but one thing, one flip of a switch, you could experience someone entirely different. One switch of your understanding about how a person is or who a person is can completely change your experience. And so I think in that way, I found myself, other than the fact that I'm in a very good place, myself. So I was very receptive. Every person I ran into was, walking into meeting the Buddha for the first time. Um, there's this good imagery that Ram Dass creates in his storytelling, but he's talking about uh, sitting down for breakfast with your child. Is like meeting Buddha for the first time. Just like so pleasant and so delightful and so open to the experience. And so I was really grateful for that experience, just to be there, just to have that moment with that nurse practitioner, and just to be cared for and listened to. It's not a therapy session, but when you go to a doctor's office, you're oftentimes being very vulnerable about things that really bother you. Like, I don't need to go into details here, but I needed consults uh for sleep apnea because I have sleep apnea, so I wear a CPAP when I sleep, and I look like an elephant. And just all these things that I just needed that help. And she was so warm, and not in the way like uh clinical, warmth where they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, like whatever." But she totally understood what the, she knew the objective. Or as my father-in-law says, "You know what you got to do." And so She knew what she had to do in that moment, and she did it exceptionally. You never know who's going to walk in. And to be that space for me, and for me to be able to recognize it, it was such a tender moment in my life. And I hope that when you meet somebody in a moment, whether or not it's a moment of vulnerability for them or a moment of vulnerability for you, if you can have a soft heart and an open mind, you can really be in a space with someone. It was really special. So, um, that being said, we uh, we all have something to do today, and I have to go pick up my son from daycare. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope that this gave you some perspective. Huh. And I'll see you next time.